I told that old hag of yours to stay away from my wedding coming up soon. So can you make sure to tell her as well for me? Tell her that she will not be allowed into the wedding on the day of and that she needs to stay away from us so as not to cause any trouble.
What? When you say that old hag of mine, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about your mom being the old hag, and you should have known what I meant. Having her walk into my wedding all by herself with no partner walking beside her is just sad. So tell her to stay away. Simple as that. You are her daughter after all, so you should be fine with asking that of her for me.
Sandy? I'm sorry, but I have zero clue what you're talking about right now. Are you really telling me that you don't want my mom coming to my brother and your wedding?
I am telling you that. I shouldn't even have to be telling you this sort of stuff right now. You should already know that someone like her coming into my wedding would ruin the whole mood.
No, I don't know any good reason why her coming to your wedding would ruin the mood.
Why not? Being raised by a single mother is freaking embarrassing, right? And having her waltz into my wedding with nobody as her partner is so sad that I cannot allow it to happen when I'm about to show everyone my happiness. So tell her to stay away, please. Even your brother is embarrassed by her, so I'd like to keep her from coming in and ruining the whole wedding by making him and I beat red with anger and embarrassment. Just think about it with a level head, and you can see why I'm asking this from you.
Why are you saying things like that? I actually respect my mom a lot for having to raise her kids all on her own. And the way you're talking about her so cruelly right now is making me a bit upset, so please stop that. I feel bad for my mom right now hearing things like this about her from you.
What? Are you an idiot as well, then?
Excuse me?
You just have to put a little thought into it and you'd understand what I'm saying. If your mom comes to my wedding, she's going to ruin everybody's time. And if she begins to piss me off coming in as a single and depressing mother like that, then what do you think will happen to my wedding?
Well, stop trying to think that just by having my mom at your wedding, she'd ruin everyone's mood and end your wedding.
If she ends up coming in and giving the wedding a rotten atmosphere, your brother's going to be just as upset as I will be. Are you telling me that you want both me and your brother to be upset and embarrassed on our very special day?
Does this mean that my brother is 100% on board with having my mom stay away from the wedding?
Him and I are a married couple now. Anything I say about the two of us automatically makes him on board with it.
Well, if that's what you think, then fine. But I highly doubt that he'd be okay with what you're saying about our mom right now. Both he and I think highly of our mom and would never want to do anything to disrespect her.
You're the least helpful little sister. Well, whatever, I guess. We'll handle your mom on our own then.
And how are you going to handle my mom then?
Don't you dare go telling your brother anything about this, okay? And if you don't want our wedding to end up going up in flames, then you stay out of what happens next between us and your mom.
Well, now you're starting to get me worried about what you're planning on doing. I don't plan to say anything necessarily to my brother about this, but you're not going to do anything unwarranted to my mom, right?
We are getting very close to our long-awaited wedding and are both very nervous as well as excited for the day. So I ask you to please stay quiet about what I said. Allow your brother and I to have our moment in peace without getting in the way.
I still am a bit lost on what's all going on here with you, but I have no plans of getting in the way of your wedding. But can you make sure to talk all of this through with my brother as well before you ask to have my mom stay away from your wedding? Mom, have you gotten any messages from Sandy recently?
Well, she told me not to come to her wedding a little while ago.
So she actually did go ahead and tell you all of that straight then. I can't believe her. Well, you don't really have to worry about what she said to you, okay? I really do think that there's no way on earth that Kai would allow you to be told to stay away from his wedding with no good reasoning.
Well, I hope you're right.
Huh? Why do you say it like that?
Well, I'm just saying that what Sandy has said about Kai agreeing with her might be correct. I'm sure to him he has no real use for me anymore as his mother, and if anything, I'm just an embarrassment to him now.
Why are you saying all of that stuff about yourself and him? There's just no way that he'd think of you that way now.
Well, I heard all of this from Kai himself.
What? You heard this from Kai himself?
He told me that after what he's been told by Sandy, it's probably best that I really don't come to their wedding. And then after that, he ended our conversation by telling me to just not come. And ever since then, I haven't heard anything from him, no matter how many times I try to call and text him.
What the heck? What is wrong with Kai? Does he not see how rude he's being to you right now? I'll go and talk with him then.
Please stop trying to talk any sense into those two for me, okay?
Why should I stop trying, though? There has to be something going on between Kai and Sandy that we don't know about, because there is just no way he'd actually mean something as cruel as that. I bet you she's trying to brainwash him right now, and that his response to you wasn't his own.
And I'm sure that there's some reason for Kai telling me not to come, but we can't go around trying to force ourselves into those two's decision. I will at least go out and try to help them prepare tomorrow, but if they really do not want me coming to the wedding or having anything to do with it, then I'm going to stop. It's my job as his mom to let him decide who comes and who doesn't come to his wedding.
All right, then. How about the both of us go tomorrow, then, to help them prepare? I want the both of us to hear the real reasoning behind their decision for having you stay away.
Hey, why did you and your mom come here? I thought I made myself very clear when I said that I didn't want your mom coming to my wedding. What the hell are you thinking coming into this place with your mom?
Well, I'm having a hard time believing that you actually had the nerve to tell my mom to stay away from this wedding.
Well, even if you've come here today, it's not going to help your guys' situation any. Your brother and I didn't prepare a seat for your mom here.
Huh? You actually overlooked preparing a seat for my mom? For Kai's mom?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And why would I have? I told you that she wasn't allowed in here, yet she chose to come anyway with you.
Even if you're my brother's fiancé, this is going way too far. Allow us to talk to him right now about all of this.
Right now, Kai is busy talking with other people at the moment and doesn't have time to waste with the two of you. That's the whole reason I'm being considerate of him and am giving up my time to handle his family ordeal. As I had said to you and your mom before, there is no seating for her. I'm going to have your mom kicked out of this wedding right now.
You are the worst, Sandy, saying things like that about my mom.
I'm in the right to be saying all of this about her. Having to be raised in a single-parent household is one of the most embarrassing things to happen to someone, and I don't want him to feel that embarrassment today. All your mom is doing by being here is causing problems, and I want her to go home.
Then the whole family is going to go home.
Huh?
I've had enough of this from you. My mom is done dealing with you, and so the two of us are going to do as you say and leave this wedding right now.
Huh? Hold on a second, Amber. Did I ever say that I want you going home from this wedding as well?
You don't have to say anything like that to me, because saying something like that to my amazing mom is enough to make me want to go. So if you still want her to leave this place, then I'm going to join her and see her home. And right now, we are talking with other members of the family about this as well as friends. Even my brother is saying that he's ready to go now after what you've said to my mom.
Huh? What the hell are you talking about when you say your brother says he will go home? Do you have any other brothers besides Kai that I've never been told about?
I do not. I only have one brother, and that would be Kai. And Kai is the one saying that he'll come home with us. The way you've been acting around us and speaking for him has been way too much for him to accept.
Now, you wait just a second. What are you actually saying right now? What? Are you telling me that you told Kai about all of this? That has to be a load of crap, right? I specifically told you to not tell him anything about this and that I'd handle things between us.
Well, I was finally able to talk with him in person, face to face. And when we started to talk to one another, I made sure to show him all the things you've been saying to our mom and I about not wanting her here.
Huh? You're showing our conversations to other people without asking for my permission first. What the hell happened to there being something called privacy in this world?
And what happened to the privacy that my brother deserves to have from you?
Huh?
You ended up taking his phone from him on multiple occasions and typing all sorts of replies to my mom using his phone, making her think that she was talking to him when it was really you. And in the end, you were the one that blocked her on his phone, right?
I'm not really sure what you're talking about right now, but...
Come on now, Sandy. This is not the time to be laughing about that. You have very much shocked my brother with the way you've acted.
And so what? Why the hell did you tell all of this to Kai now? I swear, I told you very clearly to not get in the way of your brother and my happiness, and that includes this wedding today.
You think I was actually going to listen to you after what you said to me about not wanting my mom at her son's wedding?
Huh?
The way you've been acting around everyone has been completely screwed up, and my brother needed to know about what you were doing. And right now, he's in complete shock over what you'd done.
Huh? What are you trying to say I did that would surprise him so much? What did you actually say to my man that would make him start to doubt me? Why, Amber? Why would you do all this useless crap on the most important day of Kai's and my life?
This is all happening because of how you played your cards, Sandy. You kept thinking that you had the right to talk horribly about my mom and say that she was causing the two of you embarrassment. But it's because of my mom that you were able to meet such an amazing man as Kai. Because she worked her butt off for us, making sure we turned out as good people. What the hell does it matter to you that we have no father? You have no right to talk about my family like you have been, Sandy. Even if you have a problem with her being a single mother, my brother and I are both so thankful that we were raised by someone as warm-hearted and thoughtful as her.
Who gives a crap about all of that? Right now, things are going downhill for me. If I'm not able to have this wedding with Kai today, what am I going to do? Where the hell has he run off to right now?
Do you even have the ability to listen to what I say to you? I said just a second ago that not only my mom and I, but also Kai have all given up on you and are done here.
What do you mean given up on me and are done here, though?
I'm saying that we cannot forgive you for the way you've talked to us and the way you've acted around Kai. And it seems that he feels the same way and doesn't want to deal with you as his partner anymore.
Hold on. I just heard that Kai is telling everyone here that the wedding is canceled and to pack things up to head home. That has to be a sick joke or something, right?
No, you know very well that he is not the kind of person to joke about something like that, especially when he was so happy to get married today. If he's going around telling everyone that right now, then it's truly happening.
But him and I really did plan on having our wedding today, Amber.
I know that. And everyone else expected you both to have a wedding today as well. But if all your family and friends, as well as the groom, leave the wedding, then there's no way you can carry on with it, right? Unless you're going to have a one-man wedding today.
Why the hell would you say something like that now? How would I ever be able to have a wedding by myself? Why is all this happening to me now? This is all your fault, you jerk!
Huh? This is all my fault now? Why would any of this be because of me, Sandy?
I told you to stay out of all of this and not to get in the way of anything regarding my wedding with Kai today. But since you went ahead and opened your mouth to your brother about what's going on, this all happened. I never actually thought you'd be stupid enough to tell Kai about what I'd said and done.
Huh? You still have no clue what's going on here then?
What do I have no clue about, Amber?
The only thing everyone thought could never happen is the way you acted towards me and my family. You literally took my brother's phone from him without asking and blocked my mom's number on there so that she couldn't try and talk to him anymore. Is that something normal people do to their in-laws?
Well, when you say it like that, you make it seem like I have done something wrong.
That's because you have done something wrong. Plenty of things, actually. I myself am having a very hard time understanding why, after all that's happened, you're still having a hard time understanding why you've been in the wrong. Tell me, why have you done all of this to my mom and want to kick her out of the wedding?
Well, that's because I just don't want her to be here today, and so I want her gone.
Well, that's not giving us a clear reason, though. I want to know why you don't want her here and want her to go home. If your reason for all that is because she's a single mother, then maybe you shouldn't be marrying my brother in the first place. What kind of balls do you have to think that using that as a reason would be a good idea?
Well, listen, if your mom is single and can't find another man to marry, then in the future, Kai and I will have to take care of her when she's old and useless. And since he's the oldest, you won't have to worry about your mom, and all the responsibilities surrounding her will fall on us, right? So I've been trying my hardest to have the two of us cut ties with her sooner rather than later. I just assumed that by forcing her to not come to this wedding, that'd be enough to end things between us.
So your reason for all of this is due to your overbearing selfishness? Well, if that's it, then I guess there's no helping you now. You can talk the rest of this through with my brother.
Wait a second, Amber. If you don't stick around and help me, then my wedding is going to fall apart and I'll lose Kai. You and we're supposed to become sisters, right? Let's you and I grow close to one another and fix all of this. After what's happened to me today, I'll even forget about what I thought regarding your mom and allow her to come watch her son and I get married. And then after that, we can all become one big family, right?
After all you've done to us, you expect something like that to work out for you? No matter how you try and spin things now, we are never going to be your family.
Please do not say things like that right now. You're the only person that can help me right now in getting your brother to come back to me. Right. How about you go ahead and tell him to come back to me, and then after that we can forget any of this ever happened.
How about this, Sandy? How about you just forget about there ever being a chance of you becoming my brother's wife, and then we can end all of this right now. I'm so glad you went crazy just before the wedding, so that we could all see your true colors before the knot was really tied. If you and him really did get married today, then my family's future would have been in real danger. I'm really relieved to see that I won't become your sister-in-law after all. You must really be in a corner right now thinking we can all forget about what you'd done, especially after what you did to my mom.
You really don't have to say things like that right now, Amber.
I believe it was you that really didn't have to say all of the things you said to my family before, but you did anyway. So what happens to you next has nothing to do with me, okay? You can go right along and talk with my brother about that and see where you'll end up.
I'm not even able to get a response from your mom now. I wonder if I can get any of them to come back here. I'm sure if they just listened to my reasoning behind all of this, they'd understand me.
The only reason for all this was you trying to save yourself from having to care for my family in the future. Well, look at that. You won't have to worry about us anymore because none of us plan to talk with you anymore.
But your mom is supposed to be a really kind person, right? She would never say goodbye to me forever over a simple mess up like this, right?
Well, my mom's saying that she could never see you becoming a part of her family after what happened today.
She said that? That considerate mom would say something like that about me?
Well, weren't you the one that had planned on throwing her away the moment you married my brother? Oh well, I guess. Seems like you're going to be the one getting thrown away now after everyone came around to understand your true intentions. My sincere condolences, Sandy. Really sucks that you were never able to have your special day today. But you are like the devil, so there was no reason for you to have a special day in the first place. Good luck with the next man you plan on roping in. Hopefully he has both a mom and a dad that he was raised by, so you don't have to go through a day like today ever again. In the end, the wedding that had been planned for that day was canceled almost immediately. And of course, the legal marriage that Sandy and Kai had with one another ended up going up in flames. And because of the embarrassment they were forced to endure regarding this event, both of Sandy's parents ended up leaving her to fend for herself and would later cut ties with her. Sandy was then left to pay all the cancellation fees for the wedding, as well as a settlement for what she'd done to Kai's mom. But because she didn't have the money for all of that, she tried to get Amber's help again. However, this time, Amber wasn't going to have any more of Sandy and blocked her within seconds, so that she'd never have to hear or see a word from her again. It really seems fair that after all Sandy had done to Kai's mother and sister, she'd end up with no wedding, no husband, and no parents. She did say she went through all that in order to not have to deal with a single mother-in-law in the future, but nobody's even sure if that was the true reasoning or if this was all done due to Sandy just being a crazy woman.
Did I hear that once again you failed another one of your interviews? I'm starting to see a trend here that's going to lead to you becoming a nobody. You really are a useless woman. But I guess you never chose to move on to college or anything higher than high school. So we all knew from the start that you weren't going to be getting anywhere.
I'm sorry that I never went anywhere after high school, but it's not because of that I'm having such a hard time right now finding a company that's willing to hire me. I just happen to want to go down a different path than other women, and that's why it'll be more difficult for me to find work that I want. I feel that if I don't get the kind of work that I want, then I'll never be able to take that kind of work seriously.
Huh? What are you rambling on about? I know that it's due to you never making it out with a college degree that nobody wants to hire you. We are a family of elite bankers, and we're all getting pretty close to kicking you out of the family for your repeated failures. I've already talked a lot of this over with Mom, but could you possibly stop coming back home to us now?
What? What are you talking about, Joyce?
We are already planning to take all your things that are still in this house and throwing them away for you. So don't even bother coming back here. Go out into the world and take care of yourself, you trash.
Wait, but asking me to do that out of left field is way too soon, right? I do want to get out of the house just as much as all of you want me to, but saying that you're already going to be throwing my things out and kicking me out so soon is too fast.
We're not going to be throwing away your things, though.
Huh?
After all your failed attempts to become someone more than just a loser in this family, you
And all your things are like garbage. And garbage has to be thrown out. So we'll make sure that the trash gets taken out right away. Therefore, you are now on your own with no family left to support you. Goodbye now, you filthy mess.
I've always felt that all of you have been terrible for people I call family, but I never expected you all to take things this far. Kicking me out of the house just like that, it's crazy.
And don't even bother trying to come back to us ever again. But even if you do still feel as though you'll find a way back into the family, know that we'll have the lock changed and you'll never be able to come back into the house. Ha! I'll even make sure to let all of our neighbors know that you're not welcome here anymore and to call the police if they ever see you around our house. Consider this your one and only warning. Ha!
You're going even further with all this now? When are you guys going to stop with this nonsense? Don't you guys even feel a bit of sadness that you're doing this to your own family right now? I have dealt with you all this whole time, even with all the hate you throw my way. But I guess this is where I should draw the line because I seriously never thought a day like this would come so soon.
Well, this is all because of you, right? We are a family of highly praised bankers. Yet, you never bothered trying to make anything of yourself. You never gave it your all in education, and you never tried when it came to finding a job. So there's no other choice than this. You couldn't even do the one thing that this family is known for, and that's being good with money.
But I never wanted to be a banker or have anything to do with money. I had tried working for a bank when I graduated high school, but it wasn't for me, and I chose to go down a different path than all of you did. But because of that, you and the rest of the family call me a failure, even though I have been doing just fine following my dream.
Say whatever the heck you'd like. We've all decided to have you kicked out of this house. So don't try coming back, or you'll only make life worse for yourself. Now, goodbye forever, you pile of garbage. Ha! And I'm never going to even think of you as my sister from now on.
Wait, Joyce, are you actually wanting to go through with all of this? Can you guys at least give me my things to take with me? Throwing all of those things away is not okay, please.
I'm beyond surprised. I never actually thought today would be the day that I'd be seeing you again after all these years, especially at a place like here.
I'm just as surprised as you are about this. But what really shocked me was the way you began to freak out when you saw me and screamed to have me thrown out at once, which, of course, people followed through with.
Where did you end up hearing that I'd be having my wedding today? I bet after hearing about me finding a man of my own, you became jealous and wanted to find your way into here. Well, I never wanted to see you again after we kicked you out of the family a long time ago. You pile of garbage, ha ha ha.
So even after 12 years have gone by, you're still going to call me a pile of garbage? I was sure that you would have changed after such a long time of having never seen me, but I was wrong.
Oh, why did you come here today? Even Mom is upset after having to see you again after so long. And she wants to know just as much as I do why you came all the way here to see us. I seriously do not ever remember sending you any sort of invitation to my special day, so why have you made your way in here uninvited? Did you think you could make up with us again?
That was never my reason for coming today. And I never knew that this was going to be your wedding either.
Really? I can tell that you're lying to me right now. If you never knew that today was going to be the day of your sister's wedding, then why did you come here all dressed up like you were trying to impress us and get back into the family? I'm sorry, but clothing like that is still not going to meet our family's standards.
I'm very well aware that both you and Mom are never going to let go of all the hate you have for me. But unlike the future you saw me having, I have not become a failure, and if anything, I've come out on top. And having to hear from you today that you wanted me to leave your wedding without even giving me the chance to retort, you've confirmed to me that both you and Mom are hopeless.
Oh, come on now, Alice. We know better than to let you talk to us after how much you'd fallen. Tell me, have you actually come out on top of us after all these years? Are you working for the banks now as a banker yourself?
I'm not a banker.
Well, then that confirms to all of us that you are a failure and will never climb out of that pit you dug yourself into. Ha! So, now, tell me why you had to come back into our lives like that on my biggest day. Could this all have something to do with you losing all your money and wanting us to hand some over to you? We all told you long ago that we have no use for someone who never graduated with a college degree and who never became a banker like the rest of us. And I never remember sending any failures an invitation to my wedding today.
So you have no clue about me then?
Huh? What else is there to know about you?
I did not come to this wedding today to celebrate you or ask for your money. I'm here at this wedding today because the groom of the wedding today, your husband, is one of my employees. I came as his CEO to show support for him on his special day.
Huh? You're his CEO. Why are you starting to spew complete nonsense at me now like that?
As far as I'm aware, the man you are having this wedding with today, Ethan, is working for me within my company. But I never once thought that the woman he'd be getting married to today would be my long-lost sister from so long ago. Well, I understand everything now and can begin to see how all of this happened. He did tell me a little while back that he'd be getting married to someone who works for the bank.
Why are you calling him Ethan like you know him? There's no way him and you are close enough to where you actually know him that well. Tell me the real reason as to why you know the name of my husband.
And I've been explaining to you the reason why for the past couple of minutes now. But for some reason, you're not willing to accept anything I've told you thus far, huh? Well, I don't ask that you understand everything I'm explaining to you, but please know that this is all the truth.
Wait, then you actually are his CEO? You're actually telling me that you are my husband's boss?
You could call me his boss, but I'm the CEO of the company he works for. And there's a few people between him and I when it comes to who his bosses really are. I can see now why all of you guys were in such a panic today when you saw me. I bet you never actually thought that the woman you called a failure so long ago and kicked out of the house with all her things would turn into someone who has their own company and has hired your husband.
I bet you're nothing in reality. There is no way in hell you've actually become a CEO after we kicked you out. Well, at least I thought there was no way in hell. Are you really a CEO now?
I really am. You're being a jerk right now acting like that about me, Joyce. I'll have to talk with Ethan about all of this soon so that he has better understanding of what all he's gotten into.
Huh? What do you plan to tell him about?
Well, I had planned to come to his wedding today as he wanted me to introduce myself as his CEO to his family and friends. But you've gone and kicked me out of there before I even had a chance to explain things. I have once again been kicked out by both my mom and sister after they both started yelling at me and calling me a pile of garbage and a failure. So I have no desire to come back to your guys' wedding now. I'll have to tell Ethan about this so that he's aware I'll no longer be around to introduce myself to anyone.
Aw, crap. He did tell me that today everyone would get to meet his CEO, but I never assumed they'd be you. When he showed me the name of his CEO, she had the same first name as you, but the last name was different.
It's been over a decade now since we last talked. It wouldn't be crazy for me to have gotten married in that time frame and changed my last name, right?
You got married. In other words, you're saying that you got married to someone before I did?
It's been a little over 5 years now since I had my wedding. And it was 10 years ago that I started my little company. And within the past decade, it's grown exponentially to where I now have a few offices outside the city. Ethan has been working for me for a very long time now, at least 7 years, I believe. And he's even on track to being promoted into a far better position after his wedding.
Hey, Alice, I'm not sure if what all you're saying is 100% true or not, but can you promise me that you won't say anything necessary to Ethan about this today?
What about this would be necessary to him?
I don't want him thinking that the whole reason his CEO couldn't come today to introduce herself to everyone was because of me. Go and tell him that you couldn't make it to the wedding because you feel sick or something like that, okay? I don't even believe you when you say you're his CEO, but this is all just to be on the safe side of things. So, if you really are, then do as I've asked, and I promise not to get any more upset with you. You understand what I'm asking from you, right?
What kind of person do you think I am? You're asking me to do all that for you, even though you've always looked down on me and hurt me in multiple ways? Funny how much the tables turn when you realize that I'm not the one in a deep hole that I can't get out of, but rather, you are. Let me just say this. No matter how hard you try to talk me out of telling him, it's too late. I bet when your husband, Ethan, hears about all of this, he's going to explode on you.
Why would he end up being that upset with me? Stop talking to me about my husband like you know him better than me.
Did you know that he never graduated with a college degree either? And that the only reason he has a job right now is because I gave him a chance back then? He's just like me in a way, coming from a past where nobody respected him, and now he's going to learn that you never respected me for that same reason.
What? Ethan never graduated from college? Oh.
It's crazy to think that after how much you bullied me for never graduating from a college, you managed to find someone to make your husband who was in the same boat as me.
Well, who cares if he graduated with a degree or not after high school? He's still very young and has a lot of time ahead of him to make lots of money with that brain of his. I know for a fact that he'll never have to worry about finding work in his life because he has the perfect job right now.
But the one that gave him that perfect job happened to be me, the person you bullied long ago for not having a degree. Well, I did manage to go to technical school after that, so you could say I am certified in the work I do. I happen to have the brains and ability, though, where I can succeed in life just like everyone else, without having a degree in anything. I wonder what Ethan will think, though, when he finds out that you bullied someone like him so much and kicked her out of your own family for never going to college.
Wait, stop that. I told you not to tell him anything unnecessary. He'll start to think that I'm some sort of monster for thinking and acting like that.
Sorry. I just told him about all of that.
What? What the hell are you talking about?
Seems that, by the way, he's responded to me. He's in disbelief about you right now.
No freaking way, Alice. We are supposed to start the wedding really soon here, and now my man is getting pissed off. And he's telling me right now that he never thought of me as being such a disgraceful human. I'm in a panic right now, Alice.
Well, you starting to panic about all of this isn't going to change the fact that you screwed up. And I think Ethan has the right to know the real kind of woman you are before he gets any further with you in this wedding. If you were going to make it any further with your antics today without him noticing, then his reaction would only be worse than it is now come the time he realizes the real you. I know this must hurt a lot to have happened now, but I think it'd be best if you gave up now.
What do you mean you think it's best for me to give up now? What the hell do you think I should be giving up on? Hold on, this is not good. It looks like Ethan is asking for this whole wedding to be canceled now.
I knew something like that would happen. But I have to say, I agree with what he's thinking. I know that you're both already married now, but I'm sure that he doesn't want things to go any further with you now that he's heard everything. Next, he'll probably be asking for a divorce.
Huh? Why are you thinking that the worst outcomes are going to happen to us? I do not want him to leave me. I'd finally found myself a man that has a good job and can bring in all the money I need. But now I have to live with the news that he's been working for you this whole time. What the hell is up with all of that?
As far as I'm aware, you're the only one that should be considered the mess-up in all of this.
But you're the one that should have never been able to become the CEO of any company. How the hell have you pulled off such a lie that you were able to get even my husband to believe you?
I told you that none of this is a lie, Joyce. You heard everything from Ethan himself now, right? So you should understand that everything I've said is the truth. I am the CEO of the company he works for, and I always will be, whether you want to believe that fact to be true or not. And that's why at this moment, Ethan is very upset with you. His idea of the person you are was wrong. Someone like you that acts like a bully and thinks that those who never graduated from college are trash don't deserve to become happy. Now you and Mom get lost and fix your ways of thinking.
Even if you do tell us to leave and change, this was the day that I had been dreaming of having for so long now. I was about to have a really good man as my husband. But now you're saying that things with him won't work out? Are you telling me that he no longer loves me?
It's not about whether he loves you or not anymore, but that he's been blown away by the monster he's learned you are. I'm sure anyone would be acting the way he is now after learning the person they love is a disgraceful woman.
But seeing that he trusts you more than he trusts me, don't tell me that you've been planning on something like this happening for the past 12 years now.
What about this would I have planned for?
You knew that he was going to marry me, and that's why you decided to employ him. Also that you could get your revenge on me, right?
There's no way that'd be the case. How selfish can you be, Joyce? Seriously. I told you already that he's been working for me in this for a very long time now. So would you stop trying to make things about this worse by selfishly changing the story to make you the victim?
So then this is all just happening by coincidence only.
We live in a pretty small world. I didn't believe that I'd be running back into you ever again either, after you all kicked me out of the house. But I'm sure that after today, you and I really will never have to run into one another again.
I just want us to go back to cutting ties with one another. But if I do that now and leave all of this mess as it is, then Ethan's going to end up leaving me as well. This is all your freaking fault. I'm supposed to be your big sister, right? So you can do something to save me from losing my husband and my wedding. Do something about this right now. Hurry up.
There's nothing I can do nor want to do to help you. Everything that happens from now on regarding your marriage to Ethan has no relation to me. All I did today was tell Ethan about the person you are and about how your actions have affected me in the past as well as today. But he's the only one that can choose what to do with all of that information, not me. I'm sorry that you never learned to give up on treating me like garbage after 12 years, but this is what happens to rotten people. But maybe now that everything is affecting you personally, you'll start to learn from all of this and change for the better. Now, good luck with that and everything else that's going to ruin your life.
Wait, please, Alice. Please get Ethan to understand me and continue with the wedding. You're his CEO after all, so he'll have to listen to you, right?
Well, if he's going to listen to me, then I'll ask him to cancel this wedding and get as far away from you as possible. Having to be married with you for the rest of his life would be the worst thing to ever happen to him, and I don't want that.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Now, can you stop replying to me about all of this? You're being a pain in my butt. Goodbye forever now, you pile of garbage. Must really burn to be a failure in a family filled with elite bankers. Maybe you can go bring Mom along with you as you go burn in hell. In the end, Alice went and told pretty much everything to Ethan about his wife and how she views people that never went to college. And because of that new information to him, he ended up canceling the wedding and getting a divorce from Joyce. Ethan has always been very thankful of everything Alice had given him with the job, and so his love for Joyce died within seconds of hearing the truth. And as for Joyce and her mother, the family learned about what they'd done to Alice by kicking her out of the wedding and were just as pissed at them as Ethan was. Joyce would then lose her job within her family's bank and would go on to be the family's new failure. Are you also planning on coming to my wedding now, Faith? Jasmine, congratulations on getting married. And yes, I am planning on coming along to your wedding as well. I received your invitation a while back and made sure to RSVP, but perhaps you never heard anything about that yet? I have heard all about that already, and that's the whole reason I'm asking you if you're coming or not. Why would you be asking me if I'm coming or not again then? You're still planning to come to my very special day even though you're in a wheelchair? Why would you do that? And actually, what do you have against me that makes you want to come and ruin the one day I ask for everything to be perfect? So that's what all this is about then. What you're telling me, Jasmine, is that you don't actually want me to come to your wedding then. And that's why you're trying to make it seem as though I'm going to come to your wedding with the want to destroy it? I'm not just trying to make it seem that way, though. I know that when you come into the wedding hall in that moving jail cell of yours, you're going to make sure the whole atmosphere goes sour. What do you actually think you're doing coming to my wedding in that thing? I'm telling you that there will be no place for disabled people like you at my wedding. I don't need you to have a seat or anything prepared for me anyway, as I'm already sitting and can just roll up behind everyone else. I'm sure that it may be difficult for me to see such things if I'm behind a bunch of other people, but I'll make things work when I get there. You really want to come to my wedding that badly, huh? Don't you realize that having to cater to a cripple during the whole day will cause others to become stressed out? Seriously, why the hell are you wanting to come to the wedding? It's a mystery to me. You're going to be a huge disturbance for everyone, yet you still think it's okay to come? A disturbance? You really think I'm going to allow myself to get in everyone else's way while I'm there? Actually, can you explain to me in detail how I'm going to be a disturbance to everyone at your wedding? I'm sure you'll have a hard time giving me some examples of that, so perhaps you should stop trying to make me out as some sort of heartless monster. Well, it's only natural that the one being a huge disturbance wouldn't bother thinking about all the problems they can cause. You're being pretty rude today, Jasmine. But I guess I should be expecting that sort of behavior from you. Well, I understand how you feel about me coming on your once-in-a-lifetime day. But you're not the only person that's allowed to invite people to your wedding, and it seems to me that someone else would really like me to be there. So what choice should I make when it comes to me coming or not? It's still your wedding after all, so if you really do want me to stay away from your wedding, then I'll listen to you and do as you wish. I know that my brother wants you to be there, but he's way too nice of a person to tell you the truth to your face. I mean, that's probably the whole reason behind him ending up with a crippled woman in the first place. He was too nice to say no to you back then, and even now he can't bring himself to say no to you and tell you the reality of things. Maybe he just likes to be a charitable person, and this was his way of sacrificing something he had for another, lesser being. What do you think about being a bit nicer to me, Jasmine? Not only are you being rude to me, but you've started to say things about Hank that I'm sure he'd be upset about. You're the one feeding off his kindness, so what makes you think I care about how I'm making you feel right now? Well, here's something for you, Faith. I do not see you as anyone close to my sister-in-law, okay? And the reason for that is because I felt very bad for my poor brother and the fact that he forced himself to be with you. How about you go try and tell something like that to Hank then instead of me? I'm sure that you letting him know how you'd feel about him and I will quickly get you the results a whole lot quicker than telling me. Because you sitting there going off on me like this is not going to get you anywhere or change anything between us at all. So if you really don't want me to come to your wedding and you have a good reason for it, then tell your brother that and see what he thinks. Faith, you're really a pain to deal with and a disgusting woman. I'm asking you to stay away from my wedding with the hopes that my brother never has to know the real reason why. Without him knowing why you don't want me there? You know that he's going to become suspicious about things the moment I don't come with him to the wedding hall. I have no idea why you even think it's possible to hide something like that from him. Oh, maybe you're trying to say that you don't want him finding out about how twisted of a soul you have and about the way you've been talking to me right now? Shut up! Listen to me, Faith, if you actually do come to my wedding, then I'm never going to forgive you for it. And another thing, if you say anything to my brother that would cause him to suspect I've done anything, I'll make you regret ever coming around him or I. So if you'd like to find out what I'll do to you after coming, then be my guest. At least in my case, if I were you, I'd stay away and not even try to poke the bear, which is me. Well, if you're saying that you don't want me talking with your brother about any of this, then how am I supposed to stay away from your wedding without him noticing? I'm sure if you put some thought into all of this, you would understand why what you're asking for is not making any sense. How about to stop myself from being a disturbance at the wedding, I just show up for a little bit to say hi to everyone and then head back home? That should be okay with you, right? I'm telling you that I don't even want to see your face on my special day. Well, I'm trying to think of what to do for your sake, Jasmine. Anyway, I need to go. Goodbye. And with that, have you finally been given the chance to think about all I'd said to you earlier? Maybe you came all the way here today to learn the truth about where you stand in this family and within society itself. Kicking me down on the day of your own dang wedding? Do you understand what you've just done to me, Jasmine? You've just gone and wrecked my wheelchair by doing all of that to me. Looking at you right now, you really do look like a fish out of water, wiggling around on the floor. You know, I had to kick you in that wheelchair after you came here uninvited. If it wasn't for that hunk of metal that you're stuck in, I wouldn't have had to go through all this work showing you that you don't belong here. So you kicked me down just because I'm in a wheelchair? Are you seriously going to tell me that you have no idea how horrible of a person you're being right now saying things like that to me? I get that you don't want me to be here today on your most important day, but are you not aware that you took things a bit too far to show me that? Just know that if you say anything about this to my brother, I'm going to kick you down even harder and send you to the hospital. It'd suck having to be kicked down again, even now that you don't have anything to help you move around anymore, right? Hearing that I'll do it again to you should help make your choice pretty clear right now, right? Jasmine, you've shown me today that no matter what I try saying to you about the way you've been treating me, my words will never enter your ears. I've told you plenty of times now. I don't even see you as my sister-in-law, so you should not be coming to my wedding. What kind of stranger thinks it's okay to come into some random person's wedding like you have, especially when you're a cripple? I'm not going to have a place for you here, so you're just wasting everyone's time and energy by barging in. I can see that you're having a great time saying such discriminating things about me, but do you really now see how disgusting of a person you're being right now? I'm not going to listen to anything a low-life cripple has to say about me. Especially one that's just been kicked down after showing up to a wedding for someone she doesn't even know and was never invited to. And why would I ever invite you to my wedding when you're stuck in that chair? If after being kicked out of that chair has taught you anything about your position in this world, then go ahead and leave my wedding.
Then, we're heading home as well.
Huh?
This would be Faith's husband, and since it seems you're taking things that far, we're going to head home ourselves.
Huh? Hank? Faith's husband would be you, right, Hank? What are you going on about? Today is your little sister's wedding, right? I'm sorry that I have to kick your wife out of here, but my older brother leaving my wedding to go back home isn't okay, right? You're part of my family.
Well, Faith is part of my family, and I'm not going to let you continue to harass her the way you have been. And to make sure that it can never happen again between you and her, I'm going to be cutting ties with you.
Hold on, man. Do you even understand what you're saying to me, Hank? You're supposed to be nice all the time, right? So why are you saying something so scary to me right now? Did something change inside you? Because you're acting really strange. Did Faith end up saying something to you that she shouldn't have?
Before you start to even question the way I'm acting right now, how about you take a look at what you've done to her and answer that question? You literally just kicked my wife out of her wheelchair at your own wedding. There's no way in hell I'm going to be forgiving you for doing something so ridiculous to her.
I told you to hold on a second. Are you really this upset with me right now over something like that? The way you're treating me is really worrying me now. What should we do about this? After hearing something like that from your normally kind and precious older brother, you're probably starting to sweat now, right? Huh? Is this you, Faith? What was up with that? Are you trying to give me a freaking heart attack with that crap? Trying to fake being my brother and sending messages like that is the worst thing you could do to the bride on her wedding day. I'm not going to continue talking to someone that's a complete freak if she can't talk about things with me like an adult. That's what I've been thinking about you, Jasmine. What? What you just heard from Hank was actually typed by him. And after what he's heard about you and the way you've been treating me, he is very upset and will probably not take things lightly around you anymore. Actually, he's going to talk about this with some family and friends now. Huh? He's going to talk about what with all of them right now? Oh, they're starting to say that they all want to leave as well now. What? What the hell are you talking about, Faith? I'd really like it if you stopped talking like a crazy person around me and started to explain what all of that means, please. Everyone is starting to make it seem as though they're fine with cutting ties with you, so don't worry about what they're all doing. As of right now, they've all sided with me on thinking that you're acting like a jerk because of everything you've said and done to me. There's no way they'd all side with you, though. They're all family and friends of mine. Why are they starting to side with a stranger, and a crippled stranger at that? Jasmine, the whole reason for that is that what you'd done to me was not the right thing to do. What did I do to you? When it comes to everything you've done, everything you've thought of, it's all been wrong. And not just wrong, but far from normal, actually. And Hank being pissed at you is the correct response to all of that. And right now, everyone is beginning to walk out of the building, and I think I'm going to head home myself now. Wait a second. Are you actually telling the truth right now? Now you have yourself a wonderful day doing this wedding with none of your friends or family around. And as for the wheelchair of mine that you've ruined, I'll be coming to you later to get the money to repair it. You can understand me doing that, right? You want to come and get money from me now? What the hell? I've never heard of anyone ever doing that to someone for teaching them a simple lesson. I told you everything just a second ago, Jasmine. You can read, can't you? What I said is that you've wrecked my wheelchair after kicking me out of it. For some reason, an idiot like you thought it was a good idea to kick me out of the one thing that I rely on to get around, as well as broke it in the process. So now I need to take my wheelchair in to be repaired, and you're going to be the one paying for all the repairs that need to be made to it. Not only is the structure of it bent, but you also broke one of the front wheels off the chair. That'll only cost a few $100s to repair, right? Well, it would be nice if it only cost that much, but based off all the damage you've done, it'll cost way more than that. But I have no way of paying you that kind of money right now. Also, my family and friends leaving my wedding is crazy, right? If my husband and his family find out about all of this, things will go way downhill for me. Well, it looks to me like they already know all about what's going on here today between you and I, but… Huh? What do you mean by that? What happened between you and I? I'm saying that they know about how you came up to me and kicked me out of my wheelchair and onto the floor, as well as broke my wheelchair in the process. Apparently, one of your husband's family members saw this all go down, and since you're in your wedding dress, they know it had to have been you doing that to me. They then went ahead and told your husband about all of that in a panic. Wait, what you're saying should have never happened today. Crap. Now they're saying that they want this wedding to be canceled after what's happened. Well, that would be the best choice after what everyone's heard and seen from you. Now, even your husband's side of the family is shocked by the character you've displayed today, and I'm sure they all don't want you staying married to your husband. And that poor family member that had to witness all of that in the first hand today, I'm sure they never expected you to be the kind of person that thinks it's okay to kick someone out of their wheelchair. But I'm sure anyone would have been shocked by seeing that. This is all way too screwed up. Saying that they want this wedding to be canceled now. All I wanted was for cripples like you to stay out of my wedding. That's it. It was also that my day and my husband's day would be perfect and not ruined by someone who can't stand up on their own. Why did you have to come here today and ruin everything that I worked so hard for? This is all your fault that I'm going to have to leave here today with no fond memories of my husband and I. I told you that you're a disturbance, yet you came here anyway. Perhaps this is all happening because you've acted like a schoolyard bully today? Excuse me? Just because I'm in a wheelchair doesn't mean that I was the one being a disturbance to everyone today. I think that the reason your wedding is going to be canceled is because you thought it was a good idea to do all of that ridiculous crap to me. And now everyone knows the real you. So stop trying to blame your wedding going under on me when all I did was come into the wedding hall and say hi. And now your brother is fed up with you, Jasmine. So when I say that he's planning on cutting ties with you, I'm being serious. There's no freaking way, though, that he'd want to cut ties with me. Stop trying to say things like that for my brother without him being here to defend himself. Do you really think that I'm lying about what he said? You just heard him a second ago, right? He said it himself that he doesn't want you coming around us anymore. In other words, saying he's cutting ties with you. He knows the truth about what you've done to me and knows that you have no intention of being nice to me anymore. Not that you ever were, though. Before today, I was actually doing my very best to keep myself from telling Hank about the way you'd been treating me. But after what you've done today, and with one of your husband's family members witnessing everything, there's no way to hide your disgusting behavior from anyone anymore. And so after explaining everything to Hank, this is the result. Explained everything to him? He has not heard everything just yet. All I had to do was tell him about what you'd done today, as well as show him all the texts you'd sent me recently, and that was enough for him to have a very good understanding of what you think of me. Well, look, this is all really screwed up. It looks like he's already gone and told everyone about us now, and they're all leaving the building now. This is not good for me. Faith, come back here. If you start making your way back here now, you'll be able to tell them that everything's okay and that my wedding can go back to normal. I'm sure that we can get my husband's family to understand and keep them from having this whole wedding canceled. I'm your sister-in-law, so please get back here. I'm not going back there. And after what you've done to my wheelchair, there's no way I'll be making my way back there. I can't walk on my own, right? What kind of weak reasoning is that? You have that wheelchair still, and I'm sure it's not that broken. You still have 3 wheels on it, right? Just hop back into that and wheel yourself back here. Do you really want to just let my wedding fall apart after all the hard work I've put into it? Your wedding and all the work you've put into it have nothing to do with me. You told me that I'm just a stranger to you, so why would anything that has to do with you bother me in any way? And now your brother is cutting ties with you, so you won't even have a way of coming to us asking for our help or our sympathies after what you've done to yourself. So don't try to make it seem as though I need to care about anything regarding you, because I never will. And anyway, even if I wanted to come back there and help you fix the problems you've made for yourself, you said that cripples like me are not allowed to come into that wedding. I know the rules you've laid out very well now, so don't think you can trick me into coming back. Me not coming back to that place is okay, right? I don't want to be kicked down a second time, especially now that both my hands are all scraped up and my wrists hurt a little bit. I know I said things like that before about you, but this time it's okay for you to come back and see the wedding. Please come back here and help save my wedding. If you don't come back here and make things right, then my brother will never come back here to see me on my very special day. And if he isn't here to talk my family and friends back into staying for the wedding, then it can never happen and we'll be ruined. Well, what about just giving up on the wedding and calling it a day after all this, Jasmine? I'm sorry, but to me, I don't think your husband is going to want to stay with you anymore now. And as for everyone else, I think they can all agree with me that after showing your true colors today, they don't want to stick around anymore. Would anyone want to watch someone have their wedding after they kicked someone out of their wheelchair and laughed while doing it, all before running away right after? I'm sorry, but whatever poor family member had to witness that will never approve of you having a wedding with your husband now. Well, even if you think that, when I did all of that to you, I thought I was doing the right thing and protecting my wedding. Well, that way of thinking is something that a lot of us here do not agree with. I've seen lots of people that are like you who happen to look down on me for being in a wheelchair and all of that, but I've never had anyone think it's okay to kick someone out of their wheelchair and laugh about it. What you'd done was really the first time I'd ever actually felt bad for myself having to end up with both my legs being unusable. Before, I was able to just ignore everyone, but this time, you took things too far. Looking down on you? Like, discrimination? I didn't plan on discriminating you in any way, though. Even if you didn't plan on it, the way you acted today was discrimination. And that was made clear as day to everyone at the wedding. Have you started to understand what everyone around you thinks about what you've done? Well, I guess it doesn't really matter if you understand or not, since the outcome of your actions will have little to do with me. So really, you can keep thinking you were in the right for what you'd done to me, and I won't care. Now this is goodbye forever, you pile of crap. Forever? You're cutting ties with me as well now? Why wouldn't I be? My husband is going to be cutting ties with you to help protect me from your actions, so I'm joining him to make sure that you never have the opportunity to come near me again. Now, I hope that things can still go well for you today with that wedding, but I highly doubt they will. In the end, what Jasmine had said and done to me was shown to her husband, and after being so surprised by finally shown the true Jasmine, he asked for the whole wedding to be canceled and that everyone who was still there go home. Most of the people on his side of the family were also on their way out by this time, so hearing from him that he wanted them out of there was no surprise. She was also told that she'd have to pay for the cancellation fees regarding the canceled wedding and that her husband wouldn't be paying a cent of it. The total price ended up being around $50,000, which I'm sure she won't be able to pay off immediately. But that's what borrowing money is for, and I'm sure she'll have to be doing a lot of that to afford the cleanup after the mess she'd made. After that day, Jasmine's husband filed for divorce, and after that went through, he and his family cut ties with her and never even bothered to say goodbye. When all of that had finished, Jasmine thought that she still had the chance to get her brother and I to forgive her for what she'd done. But after coming to our house to try and beg for our forgiveness, we shut the door in her face and told her that the next time she showed up to the house, we'd have the police come and arrest her. The one nice thing about her coming to the house, though, was that I was able to hand her the bill for my wheelchair repairs and said that she had a month to pay me back or else I'd take her to court and have my lawyer handle her. I still think hearing and seeing all of that from her brother and I really set her mind straight and showed her that what she'd done was really not okay with anyone. But it's too late now for her mind to be set straight, as her family and husband are no longer around her anymore and have no plans of coming back to her. That poor little idiot.